Hello everybody, how are you doing? It's me once again, Mr. Flynn, commentating for the lovely league of UFRL Formula 1, and we're back again for tier number 1 at Brazil this evening for round number 9. And we could say the Drivers' Championship could be wrapped up very early on, maybe even before the winter break, but who knows, time will tell. As you can see, everybody in the lobby just getting ready here, and we shall be getting on in the next couple of seconds or minutes. But yeah, feel free to sit back, relax. Qualifying is going to be exciting to watch, so we'll go through there. And as well, we do have two lovely helpful DRS zones and also 15 turns, so let's see how this goes. Whilst the lobby's getting ready, I'm going to grab a drink and hopefully get back in time for qualifying to begin. Right, there we go. We are back, and I could say I was relatively back in time for qualifying, so that's good to see. So we've got 17 minutes until this short qualifying is done and dusted, but for the time being, everybody is in the pit lane and not leaving track just yet. So we're going to get the stuff that we need on our screens, and there we go. But like I said, welcome to tier 1, guys. I hope everyone's having a very splendid evening. We have got a few cars now making their way to trackside, and we're on board with Mr. P, who had another disappointing round, which wasn't the best things. And oh, that's not what you want to see. A spin on pit exit, which just put him out of the pit lane. So you could say a little bit interesting. Definitely was not expecting that. To lead us at the front of the field so far is going to be the RB of Lights. I did say it was Lights. It did look like it was Lights from the time being, but an Aston Martin has gone around the car at some point, I'm guessing, because I swear the RB was leading on pit exit. But yeah, we've got Lights on track at the moment, but the main driver, you could say, leading us right now, I believe, is going to be Koff, and it is Koff. So he rounds turn number 13, and then towards number 14, and then after that corner, we do get that lovely rear wing to start our lap here at Brazil. Let's see what he can do, and never mind, he's instead bailed into the pit lane. On board at Lights then, starting his first qualifying lap around Interlagos. Let's see as he makes his way down to turns number 1, 2 and 3. A retirement there for the Aston Martin driver. Gonna say it's probably gonna be due to a qualifying ban or an engine penalty, one of those two, and he has retired, so he'll be starting at the back of the grid. Purple sector 1 for the RB at this moment of time. Obviously the first driver to set a competitive relative lap time around Brazil, heading into Sector 2 now, which you're already in really, and making his way through turns number 9 towards 10, navigating through a bit of traffic, but doesn't seem lights has been affected by that whatsoever. Coming to the checkpoint of the end of Sector 2, heading towards Sector 3 now. On the exit of turn 12, looking very stable. A little bit of a twitch end from the car there. On the exit of 14, towards 15, and then obviously towards the start and finish. DRS wide open, hugging that inside line near pit entrance, and it's a 107.466 to get the lap time started on the board there. And big things there for Williams. Did the Williams team get a nice little tow from the RB as Mr. P, a 1 minute 13.020, not the competitive lap time we have seen from the Mercedes so far, but as time goes on, hopefully he'll do just a little bit better. Fingers crossed. Right then, Bad Boy currently down in Sector 2, making his way to Sector 3. And not a bad Sector 2 time as well, as he makes the exit of Turn 12. And looking very nice there indeed. No problems, you could say, on exit or upon entrance as well. Towards start and finish, it's a 107.967, so a very good lap time to start off there, but only 2 drivers setting competitive lap times, as we are going to get Pesh down in P14. Where does he go? And he only goes to P2 as well, a 107.596. So far, Light's putting a decent competitive lap time that he would have wanted, as you'd have Mr. P about to cross the line now, and it is going to be P4 still, a 108.159. And confirmation from Koff there, his retirement from the session is going to be due to a qualifying ban. As we have Danny across the line in the Kick Sauber, it's a 108.492, and Iceman a 109.103. So interesting qualifying sessions so far, with drivers struggling to find pace, as we're on board with Bam now, going quickest in Sector 1. Not too sure if the game is telling the truth, etc., but we'll see as this lap goes on. Down in Sector 2 at turn number 9, bit of traffic to navigate through once again, but the Aston Martin does get out of the way to let the Alpine through. Does kind of clip the curb there and does touch the grass, which might have lost him a couple of tenths, you could say, because you know how deadly the grass is here. A similar, I was going to say a similar Sector 2 compared to Bad Boy there, but he has a big moment at the exit of turn 12, so this could have lost all his time, and look, it has. It's a 108.820, P6 for the Alpine right now. That is mistakes you don't want to be seeing on circuit so far this evening. On board Rusty Bolt then, down in P11, and yet to get a time on the board. Let's see how they get on. They were very close to track limits there on the entrance of you could say turn 7 towards turn 8, but keeping the car on track and within the white line, shall we say. But I was very, very close. Right then, heading towards turn 11 and towards turn number 12, a Ferrari right ahead of them, and they go quickest in Sector 2, which I believe isn't correct, and I don't think the game is telling the truth there, because what was it? The Alpine down in P6 is a better Sector 2 than the Rusted Bolt. Does go P5 though, a 108.360. So that is mighty impressive there. Apologies for the slight lag there. I'm not too sure what caused that, so apologies for that on my end. Right then, who else have we got on track who has yet to set a lap time? We've got a Fake right now in Sector 2. I do see a Haas on track as well, so Declan could be on a lap, and he is. Let's go on board with the Haas driver, making his way out turn 12 towards that start and finish to complete his first benchmark lap time around Interlagos, hugging that inside line towards the line now, and it's P2, a 107.586. Fake about to cross the line now. It is going to be a pole position for the time being. It's a 107.434, but the top two relatively close. So there you go. And Merck crossing the line, it's a 108.134. So lap times looking quite tight, and the grid looking very close as well, which we like to see. So lots of competitiveness, shall we say. Thank you, Viva. Quali Ban, Hazer and Koff, Engine Pen, Bird, Math, and Linux. Interesting. So let's see what happens here, as we have got the Mercedes, who has got the engine pen in P12, but will have to retire from the session. Lights is on a lap right now, I believe. So let's see how they get on. Is it going to be an improvement for pole position, as his teammate there does get out of the way? And Alpine in the background as well, having to navigate through the traffic at turn 7 and turn 8. A 10th up on his lap time right now, which would concede him pole position over the McLaren driver of Fake. So let's see here. Burning the battery, or not really burning the battery, to the line. It's a 107.361, which the drivers now need to chase, as we're on board with Mr. P, who is not sending it this lap at all. I could be wrong though. Just keep on board with him to see if he's pushing, but it doesn't look like he's pushing whatsoever. This could be a Mercedes tactic of getting those tyres into the optimal range and doing, you could say, 2 warm-up laps, which isn't actually a bad strategy, as Iceman is quite high up in his time right now, getting towards that line, across the line, and it's P9. It's a 108.310. So I'm seeing quite a lot of drivers in the 107s, the 108s as well. So let's see how this goes, as we do have Bird in the Red Bull down in P14, but like I said, or like Viva said, they... Oh, well, never mind. It's not. I'm getting my names balled up. Okay, never mind. It's Bird who can set a lap time in the Red Bull. It was his teammate Hazer. So me getting a bit kerfuffle there, as we have got a new pole leader right now. It's a 107.320, and once again the top 3 are very, very close to lap time. We could also say P4 is quite close as well. So Williams 1-2 as we speak right now. Well, let's go on board with the Red Bull out of turn number 3 towards turn number 4 with that rear wing wide open. His first sector is 17.7. Let's see how they navigate through the traffic and hopefully don't get impeded on their lap time. And the Williams getting completely out of the way there, which you want to do and which you want to see. Now, is the Alpine of Pooch, who's actually, it's not Pooch, sorry, it's going to be Bam, who's in P12. Are they also on a quick lap, shall we see? And they are on a quick lap. And they are going to benefit from a really, really good tow from the Red Bull behind. But they are flashing and they are blinking. So my gut feeling is he is going to be bailing back into the pit lane potentially. And no, they're going to continue the lap time. And bam, no improvement. Red Bull stuck in P13. It's a 109.215. So that's not competitive whatsoever. We have got the kick salvo of Danny starting his lap time right now. We're on board with Rusty Bolt, as he has started his lap time as well. In Sector 2, this is really where you're going to find all your time, with all the tricky corners you've got to navigate through. So only time will tell how well he has, you know, done in Sector 2. They're going to make their way to that solid white line, and they're only at 77 thousandths of a second up, but do get a snap of the rear end, and that's going to lose them quite a bit of time. So, on the run, with that rear wing open, down to the DRS straight, they do improve by a tenth, but they stay P10, which isn't ideal, and isn't great, you could say. On board with Danny. They're going to cross the line now, as the Red Bull does cross the line, and they have started their second attempt. Danny goes P8, however. 3/10 improvement, it's a 108.042, so not far away from the 107s. Danny, he's getting there. And this could be big points for Kick Sauber if it stays the way it stays. Declan seems to be on an improvement, but does bail into the pit lane, so that's probably the game absolutely lying to me. So Ferrari as well, also in the pits. Fake, who was a challenger, you could say, for pole. In a P4, 82 thousandths of a second up right now. And with such fine margins between P4 to P1, that could be his first purple sector. Relatively, I could be wrong in my calculations, but it's looking good for the McLaren so far. Like I say, all their time is going to be found in Sector 2. Oh, is it? Are they, Viva? Nice to hear. Nice to hear. As he has gone purple in Sector 2. So I'll definitely keep my eyes on Danny, who's making his debut today by reserving tonight. And Bird, who's reserving from Tier 2. As Fake to pole position, it's a 107.262. And there you go. That's pole for now. But can anybody steal it? Like Lights right now, who is on a push lap. We're going to go back on board, though, with Rusted Bolt, who is only 95 thousandths of a second up, 2/10 up now on their lap time. So they found a huge amount of time in that Sector 2, which means they will get into that top 7 if they keep it nice and tidy, getting a nice little slip potentially from the Alpine as well. And they do go P7. It's a 107.792. Pooch, I believe, now starting their lap time, which they are. We're going to move over to Lights, though, who isn't really finding time in Sector 1, but are they finding time in Sector 2? That's the big question, and they have. It's a 10th they have found right now in Sector 2, which means it could put them a slam dunk right there on pole position, on board with the RB now. Is it pole for Lights? He'd be so delighted if he could, and it is. It's a 107.242. The margins, like I keep saying, on and on, are just so close. Pooch a 10th up in Sector 1. Sector 2, he's down by 3 thousandths of a second. If he's got a decent exit there, which it did look a bit wobbly, could mean he's going to find no improvement whatsoever from P6 currently, but I could be wrong, as he's charging to that line, burning that battery, and improves by a small margin, but still stays in the bottom 6, you could say. So, hey, let's see what happens, as BAM is on a lap right now. Or are they? I don't know. I could be wrong. Let's see. They've got the battery. They are burning, so I believe they are on a provisional lap time. So we'll stay on board with the Alpine right now, as the Williams in the background could also be on a lap, which means they're going to benefit from a tow. But a bit of dirty air, but that Williams has completely backed off. So the chances of the Williams being on a lap time is probably very slim. Slim chances, slim majority, you could say. But yeah, BAM looking quite confident, but realizing that he has actually backed off his lap time. So that's going to be him bailing out, and qualifying going to be done any second now. It's flown by. I didn't even realise. And we've got 37 seconds until the checkered flag is being waved, and half of the drivers are staying in the pit lane, and bam, going to be, I don't know, starting a lap time again. I'm not too sure. Has got his teammate of Pooch right ahead of them, and Pooch does move out of the way but resets the track in the process, and his teammate of Bam in P12 gets it all wrong. On board there with Mr. P as they cross the line, they're going to be starting their final attempt around this circuit. But is anybody else on a push, on a charge? And Lights seems to be trying to find just a little bit more time as they are going to cross the line. But that's them done and dusted for qualifying, and potentially on pole position. On board then with the Aston Martin charging to the line now. There's an improvement, but they stay at P8. Is Merc in that Ferrari going to find any lap time whatsoever? They improve as well, but they still stay P10 as it stands. Are the Williams going to spoil the party though, as someone of a Williams, or it's not Williams, it's an Alpine, is ahead, and this Williams is going to benefit. A nice lovely tow all the way to the checkered flag. Is it pole position? It's only P3, and there is no improvement. It's all down now to Pesh. He's found a 10th in sector 2, but is it enough to take pole away from the RB? And it's only P3, and only marginal improvement. Declan, however, is going to be bailing, and he'll be starting P5. That is qualifying done and dusted. But look at the margin between P1, P2, P3 and P4. They're all within a 10th. These are milliseconds of lap time to find on this circuit. That is absolutely insane, because look at the gap between P4 and P5. That is huge. Absolutely huge. That is insane, chat. I'm telling you now, that is insane. Didn't realise the car would teleport me like that. I was a bit confused where you went, Pooch, when you know, let your teammate through. I presume you let your teammate through, because I saw you go straight on, and then I never saw you again, and then I just saw you teleport right back onto circuit in front of your teammate, which I don't think really helped Bam, because that would have probably scared him and put him off a little bit. But look at the top 4, chat. That is insane. Milliseconds they're separated by. Milliseconds. But there you go. Lights takes it away with pole position. Fake in P2 and Pesh in P3. That is qualifying done and dusted, and that is absolutely insane. Heading it to the track now. We're going to have a 5-minute break, and then we shall get into the roll of things in 5 minutes time. I could be wrong, but there might be a slim chance, a slim chance rain could be involved in this one, but I could be wrong. Let's have a look at potential standings for the drivers, because it's a big day. A big day and a big chance for McLaren. Of course, at this league, everybody, and I mean everybody, does get an opportunity of points from P20 up to P1. But the top 10 to the top 5 is really where you want to be to get a big haul of points, you could say. But having a look at the positions right now in the teams and all that malarkey and all that stuff, it does look quite good for Math right now, because at the moment he's on 251 points, right, which is a bit of a margin, but with still a few more races to go, including the winter break, for drivers to refresh their mind and get back into the swing of things and celebrate Christmas with their family and friends, and then come back for another few more rounds of hard racing. Math, yeah, like I said, 251, but Mano, in P2 on 199. So if Math, who's starting near the back of the grid, has a terrible first few laps and gets involved in utter carnage and contact, that would be a big haul for the McLaren driver if they get a top 3 finish, or maybe get the win plus the fastest lap as well. But that'd be a good haul of points for McLaren to try and close down that gap before we get into that winter break, which isn't next week, it is the week after. So yeah, that's going to be quite a lot of fun to watch. The standings for P3 and P4 are only separated by 1 point. P3 being on 163 and Pooch being on 162. So there's a nice little battle brewing in 3rd and 4th, and then you could say P5 and P6 as well, maybe want to get involved, and P7. So it's not over yet, chat. It's not over yet for teams to give up in the drivers' standings order. But if we have a look at the standings for the constructors combined, it's looking like a dominant victory for Mercedes, who are on 752 points, and then Alpine on 733 points, and then Vija RB on 723. So it's still a battle for that P1 in the constructors. P4, P5, and potentially P6. That's Haas, McLaren, Aston Martin. Haas on 584, McLaren on 600 on the dot, and Aston Martin on 655. Like I say, there could be a spicy battle for P4 in the combined constructors, but it all depends how tier 1 goes for these drivers. The only way I believe you cannot score points, even though everybody scores points, is if you DNF and crash yourself out of the session. I think that's the only time you won't receive points, which could be a big hinder and quite hurt to the standings for the construction, and maybe your driver's standings as well. So we've got Declan saying couldn't get that final lap in, gutted. Fair enough, Declan. I didn't really get to see what your lap time was like, but if you're saying it like that in the Twitch chat, then I can only presume that you had a really good lap and then you bottled it somewhere on circuit. But hey, as I say to everybody, these things do happen, so just take it with a pinch of salt. That's all I can suggest. So it is 8:30 here in the UK, which means the 5-minute break is wrapped up and we can go for some hard racing for 36 laps around Interlagos. So let me know who you think is going to take pole to the end of the checkered flag. I'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions. Let's see how it goes then. It's the 5 red lights for round number 9 here at the Interlagos track, and it's lights out and away we go. And you could say lights got an epic start there, and down to turn 1, almost 3 wides, and it's all going on. Williams is making contact. McLaren defending their position, actually gaining a position up into P2. Pesh getting passed by his teammate. Bad Boy now promoted up into P3. It's all going on. Utter carnage. The Alpine side by side of the Williams as we make our way out of turn 5 towards turn 6. But Pesh getting a better exit and defending that P4 for now. So it's all going on. It's starting to calm out just a little bit as we have got Bam in P14 having a bit of a fight with Danny. It's all going on in the bottom, you could say 15 to 14, switching side by side, but Math getting an excellent start, which he would want, and up into P8, picking one by one, and that's the Williams. A Bad Boy dropping now to P7, and Pesh has left the session. That's even more bad news for Williams. That's not what you want to be seeing. All the Mercedes there almost collecting that rear wing of the Williams. But what is actually quite surprising is that the Mercedes is on the hard compounded tyre compared to the Williams, who's on the mediums. And for Math to be in P7, going for a dive into turn 1 side by side, and that could have been a bump and pass, and there is contact between the Mercedes and the Williams, but the stewards may have an investigation into that one if there was indeed contact made there. He's in P6 on the hards. That's a very good start. And have I just seen Rusted Bolt on the soft compound tyres? We have seen the Aston Martin go completely straight off at turn number 4 and losing a position now to Mr. P. He's had an excellent start as well here at Brazil, and that's probably one of his best starts yet, so I'll be very happy with that one. Oh, Williams, a late lunge there and trying to get his way up into, it looks like it's trying to get into P8, and he does successfully get the overtake done. They're still, though, side by side, defending as hard as he can and getting that move done. The Haas as well. What is going on? Pace getting involved now. Coming in P10, got a Ferrari right on their rear wing, right on their gearbox. They're making their way out of turn 12. Who's going to burn most of the battery? On board with the Haas, who's probably chilling in hot lap at the moment, but now burns and burns and burns and burns. The Aston Martin going to conserve, going to saving a battery mode. Side by side, both got the DRS wing open. Down into turn 1. Haas late on the brakes. The Aston Martin trying to be later, but the Haas, which is so much later, and gets up into P9 on that medium compounded tyre. And now we've got the Aston Martin Iceman dropping through the order here, side by side with the Ferrari. There is contact, and he has lost his right hand side winglet, and the Ferrari makes his way up into P10. And now we have got Bird making his way up into I'm trying to think now, P11. It's all going on. The Aston Martin is just getting out of the way because he has got severe damage on his Aston Martin, and that is him, unfortunately, down in P16. So we're going to move back up to the top 6, which is Math in that, yeah, P6 spot right now on the hard compound tyre, still within DRS range of the top 5, and looking very good for him so far. I'm going to say the only driver on the hard compound tyre, and I am wrong, the top 2 also on the hard. So is your tyre round right now? So they're going to go on board a P3, who did look like they were trying to go for a move up the inside there of the McLaren, but decided not to. Position gains as well. Math is your current hogger, you could say, on position gains. 8 places right now. It's absolutely insane, as we have got the Haas now. Don't know what's going on with the camera there, but makes his way up into P8 and ahead of the Mercedes of Mr. P, and the gap to P7 is 1.5, and the gap to P6 on P7 is also 1.5. But starting to stable out now, and starting to chill out, you could say. Both Ferraris going at it wheel to wheel. The Bird now up into P10. Ferrari, if they want a good result here today at Interlagos, just need to work together, because they are starting to drop P12, as we have got carnage happening at the front of the field. That is the Haas of Declan being promoted into P3, and then Rusted Bolt, who I was indeed surprised to be on the soft tyre compound. Declan looking to the inside at turn 1. The Rusted Bolt going around the outside, having the better traction and the better grip at this moment of time, but will run out very, very shortly. The top two aren't really fighting. They are just trying to run away from the cars behind. More wheel-to-wheel action happening in the background with the Mercedes and the Alpine side by side still. The Alpine not giving up on this one. The Mercedes not giving up on this one. Elbows out, and the Mercedes is ahead and now up into P5. That Mercedes is looking absolutely rapid. Probably, gonna be honest, the fastest car on circuit right now. So Declan in P4, trying to stay with Ruster Bolt here. Ruster Bolt trying to stay with the top two, but is starting to fade away and whatnot. With Ruster Bolt fading away and all maybe getting the DRS. That is an all moment right there if he has got a DRS and that rear wing open. And Ruster Bolt has not got the rear wing open. He has officially lost the DRS to the top two, who are switching and just working together. So Declan back up into P3. Gonna try and close that gap now to the top two, but does have a big moment. Actually spins himself round on circuit at turn 2. That is not what you want to see there from the house. Tumbling through the order. That's a few position gains for some of the drivers on circuit, and Declan going from bad to worse. Lap number 6, he has a moment out of turn 2 and he's demoted down to P16. DRS trains also a big thing here at Interlagos, and it's starting to come into its own play, you could say, as you have got Bad Boy going against Pooch, getting up into the top 5 now, both on the same compounded tyres, but everyone being quite aggressive. So I think we just need to chill out here, guys. We don't want any safety cars happening here, so it could be a bit of a heartbreak for Williams today, because Pesh rejoining the lobby, having troubles here. Heartbreak for Pesh, you could say. Down in P17, still not in his car. It's all going on as we have got Bad Boy trying to go for the move, maybe for P3 here, trying to get 2 cars out of one corner. Does spin himself round as well. That's not what you want to see there. Williams not having a great day whatsoever, but now your championship leader is in P3, and Fake will not want to see that in his mirrors a couple laps later down the line. No soft compounded tyres as well for Ruster Bolt. Should start to drop off quite severely, but only a time will tell with that one. Yellow flags are on circuit for the Red Bull that has spun around and dropped down to P16. But let's see here. All starting to calm down just a little bit. Your spicy battles are probably going to be between 3rd, 4th and 5th, or 3rd and 4th, because 5th is 5th is in the background, sorry. That's from 5th to 6th. See, chat, it doesn't take long for Mr. Flynn to get confused, but we are going to see the top 2 switch around, both on the hard compound of tyres, but just working together to build that gap behind, which is already 2.3. Lap number 8 out of 36, but let's see what happens. Are the 3rd and 4th and 5th going to try and stop around and squabble for positions? But what's happened here? What has happened here? That's not what you want to see there. And that is a Mercedes lagging out on my screen. And I've got no idea why. But, yeah. Helicopter Cam, not liking Math, who's in P3 right now. And side-by-side action for the Bird and Pooch, who's going to win out on this one. It is going to be the Ferrari who wins out for now. But, yeah, and the Mercedes has dropped Ruster Bolt by 2.3. And that Mercedes is really starting to haul a lot more pace now. 2.3 to 2.2 is the gap. But what is the problem for the Mercedes? They have not got that rear wing open, as the advantage of Fake has right now on lights in the RB. And slowly and later on in the next lap or two, they are going to start lapping the Aston Martin right ahead of them in a few laps time. Someone is already into the pit lane, and that is Ruster Bolt on the soft compounded tyre. Basically, in my eyes, the complete wrong strategy to be on. Why would you be on the softs? Just probably wrong strategy to be on completely. They do get a front wing change in the process of losing their winglet, and they do get a set of the hard compounded tyres, which should go to the end of this race, but Only time will tell, and that is pushing it just a little bit, but probably, like I said, the wrong strategy to be on. You don't want to be on the softs. Declan having a fight with Danny for P11, as we saw a move there on Hazer, getting past Mr. P, or it could be the other way around, and Mr. P trying to get the move on the Red Bull, but the Red Bull getting a better exit. Also, on the soft compounded tyre, not too sure if I would agree with that one, but the Williams looking to the inside, bit of contact there, and Mercedes hopefully did not get damage from that whatsoever, but I could be wrong. The Mercedes and P3 isn't really gaining on the top two much anymore, because they're just switching around and playing with the DRS. And at the moment, working together, which is working for the McLaren in his favour. Which I think he'd be very, very happy with. And they are going to switch again, because look at the gain. Look at the time gain on the McLaren to the Visa. But it isn't going to be a switch. The RB will still stay ahead. And I'm not sure what on earth is going on with my camera in that part of the track. It just does not like it. So, yeah. Slightly annoying. There's nothing I can do. We've got pace right now in P5 as well. Haas having a decent day, but Declan not having a great day by having a spin, but is in P11. Got a 3.2 second gap to close down to P10, which I believe they could do. So let's see how that one gets on and underway. But yeah, like I say, all starting to relax and calm down just a little bit. But on board then with Hazer, if you ride on board with the RB, they are slowly but surely starting to lose time as the top two switch once again and going to be lapping the Aston Martin very, very shortly. But Red Bull, when they go, I don't know, they're going to go into the pit lane soon, surely. But now, interesting early stop, very early stop for the Bird and Pace. They're into the pits, surprisingly. It has really surprised me why they're into the pits that early. And they are going to go to the hard compounded tyre. Yes, both on the hards now, towards the end of this race, which, like I say, is very early in my opinion, but I could be wrong. But gaps are really stretched out now. But Hazer doing what they do best and actually managing to keep within DRS range of the Mercedes, and Declan having the push of his life on those mediums, screaming the tyres on track right now after having that very uneventful spin. Now in P9 after pit stops are starting to play into this race, but he'll be very, very happy to see that rear wing open up on the exit of turn 12 now. Those soft tyres are starting to die. You can see Hazer struggling so much. Pooch now makes his way into the pit lane, and no pitting yet from Declan, Mr. P or Hazer. Hazer's probably going to try and play the long game. They're probably thinking, if I'm still within DRS range of the Mercedes, there is no point me going for an early stop in this race yet, which is actually going to really play into their favour and help them for track position wise. But Bad Boy starting to close down on P4. That Ferrari's got a lot of time to make up. 7.2 is the gap to third. So I don't see that being broken down lap by lap, only if, really, only if there is a safety car. But so far, looking quite nice and looking quite clean. And Declan, on board with him, could be in a chance and a moment to get some fighting going on here. Right on the rear wing of the Red Bull as the Bird makes its way up into P12. I believe one of the drivers has already pitted this race. But let's see what Declan does here. They're probably chilling in a hot lap right now. They've got that DRS, as you heard the ding there. But are they going to go for the move? Down at turn 1, are they going for the lunge? Although they were thinking about going for the lunge on the Mercedes as well. The Mercedes does let the Red Bull through. And now, is this the moment where you push? He gets a really good exit, turns that battery on now. He's going to burn. and probably try and follow Mr. P here, who is squeezed so much to the outside, but does get that move done and back up into P5. That was lovely, lovely stuff there. Merc and Bam now into the pits. They will peel out in P16 and P14. We've got such a lovely scrap going on here in the top 7 for P5 right now. Yeah, it's all going on. It's lovely to see. That gap is not being closed whatsoever to P4 because they're just squabbling so much and losing quite a lot of time, which is going to help the likes of Danny and Koff try and get into the mix of this fight for some more extra points and grabbing. But let's see. Is the Haas going to try and go for the move now on the Red Bull? I would think they would by now, because that Red Bull is not going to peel into the pit lane. And actually, they do peel into pit lane. And Declan does stay out to maybe go one more lap extra and try and stay ahead of the Mercedes of Hazer and Mr. P. Let's see how far down they drop in the grid. They will make their way out into P14 and P15 this race. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the push of their life for Declan, as pace is right on the gearbox of their Pooch for P10. And if we have a look at the detail of pit stops, Pooch has boxed, so is Pace, but the driver ahead of them, which is the Red Bull, is yet to box and is really holding them up, which is really going to be frustrating the Alpine. And oh, it makes a slight error there, and that could be a move on for Pace on the inside. You can see they're trying to get a move done on the Alpine there, but the Alpine getting it all wrong, feeling the pressure. Pace going to the inside line now, late on the brakes for the Alpine, and a big driver error there, and that allows Pace up into P10 and the Alpine demoted to P11. The Bird now up into P7 as the Aston Martin or Koff does bail into the pit lane, and Declan staying out just a little bit longer on those medium compounder tyres, probably hoping for a very light safety car, as Bad Boy gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings on circuit, which is not what you want to see. The Red Bull charging to the Haas, but can't make an impression whatsoever. The Haas stays in P8, the Red Bull stays in P9, and Pooch in P10, but is being dropped significantly. Being dropped quite a bit. So that is Pooch now out of the DRS zone, probably losing a little bit of driver's confidence, having that moment at turn 12, his race almost out and almost gone, having another moment there once again on the exit of turn number 9 towards turn 10. At turn 11 now, those tyres must not be happy, it must be screaming in agony and in pain. Declan still staying out. Bad Boy does peel into the pit lane, and they should comfortably come out ahead of Hazer and Mr. P, but only time will tell. Squabbling going on, drivers being held up as Danny gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Let's go on with Bad Boy, who's in P9, making their way on pit exit, could get into the DRS zone and into the squabble of these cars. And he is actually going to come out side by side almost with Rusted Bolt, who has also pitted this race. Once again, we can have a look at pit stops, and yes, that is indeed correct. Merc has pitted, Rusted Bolt has pitted, Pooch has pitted, but the Red Bull, Danny, Declan, Mercedes and Math, Lights and Fake, all set to pit. The longer they stay out, the longer the squabbling goes on, this could lose and rage on for their chances to be within the fights of a podium fight. But that Red Bull doing what they can, defending the race of their life, and that's just what you love to see, isn't it? Hard racing, and he's defending like it's the last lap, as some drivers would say. And also some IRL drivers as well would also say that. Hey ho, it is what it is. The Red Bull is still within DRS range, phenomenal to see, shall I say. And the Williams was looking to an inside move there. The Red Bull does go deep and on the brakes, and that's a swoop pass for the Williams, now up into P11, and the Red Bull demoted down to P12. They're just waiting for a late safety car, but they need to get in the pit box as soon as possible and get those tyres on, is all I say. Get them on now while you can. The top three yet don't need to box because they're all on the hard compound tyre. That would explain why they're yet to box. You know, lap 17, probably still a little bit too early, and the top two are still staying out after getting past the Aston Martin, as it would have been blue flagged whenever they got past it, which is probably a couple of laps ago, because we probably, like I said, completely missed it, unfortunately, there. But 2.4 is the gap from P3 to P2, so the Mercedes just hovering in the background and just waiting. Only time will tell really happens. Only time. But if you are liking the stream so far, and maybe liking the commentating, we have seen Declan make his way into the pit lane, coming out in P14, got a gap to chomp down, which is 4.3 seconds. So good luck to Declan for closing down that gap. If there's anything you need me to work on or would like me to work on, feel free to let me know. You know, positive feedback is always great. It does help me out, improve on certain things. We have got the Aston Martin being blue flagged, and that's the Mercedes getting that rear wing open, I believe, for the first time in a while. And yeah, 2.1, so that Mercedes did get that rear wing open and is starting to push quite low on the battery. 2.1 is the gap to P2. If they have a very good sector 2, they could really close it down. You could see, look how much they're pushing now. 1.9 is the gap. So it's all going on. We had a big change there. I don't know what on earth was happening there. Maybe Danny set to box still. And he is still set to box. That's why we had a lot of positions lost and quite a few positions gained. So that was really confusing at that moment in time. That Mercedes is pushing like hell, though. 1.7 now. Could be 1.6 by the end of the exit at turn 12. Let's go on board with the Mercedes once again and see. Did that Williams, who's getting blue flagged, which is Pesh, I think they're still set to be in the lobby and not in the car just yet. Did the blue flag put the top two off by quite a bit, because that gap has come down by quite a substantial amount as well, but they still get that rear wing open, that turn 14 towards turn 1, and then turn 3 towards a turn 4. Look at that, they're just slowing each other down now. What on earth is going on? Look at that, the gap is now 1.2, and Math has got the DRS and that rear wing open because he's in range of the Williams, and now is going to be in striking distance of the top two, which Lights and Fake will not want to see. But now it's going to be a true fight for that P1 spot towards the checkered flag. Lap 20 out of 36, the top three. It's now going to get spicy, and is now going to get fairly interesting, as Declan now up into P13 ahead of the Red Bull, who drops down to P14. Bad Boy getting demoted and then regained on a position, I think, or actually promoted up into P6, as Danny is going to really fall down this order here. Danny making his debut in Tier 1 this evening, and still yet to box this race, probably waiting for a helpful handy safety car in P8. Does have a 3-second time penalty, however, to their name, which does mean they will drop through the order quite a bit, as a big old scrap going on there. But the big remainder of this race is, look at that rear wing for that Mercedes. He is in touching distance of the top two, and he can see his competitor in the championship in P2, who was hoping that the Math would get, you know, tangled up in some contact on track maybe, or have a very bad race at the back of the grid. But we've got a move there by the RB of Rusted Bolt up into P8. Now Pooch has got to get a move on here, and Danny D does go quite wide on the exit of turn 3, and that's now Pooch up into P9. But like I was saying about the top 3, like I say, Fake would have hoped. Math got held up on circuit somewhere with all these drivers making moves and being aggressive and stuff like that, but that advantage of scoring more points than Mercedes is now in a disadvantage loop, because even if, you know, the Mercedes came in P3, it still wouldn't make a change whatsoever. And Lights has carried on, which is interesting, and your championship leader and P2 trying to fight for that championship and close down the gap is also in the pits. So P3 and P2 in, they're not going to be stopped or in the way of anyone challenging them, but it could be Bird, who makes their way to turn 1 now and up into P2. So Bird doing a very good job, but how long has he been on those set of tyres? 11 laps. 11 laps on the hards. So his grip will be absolutely disgusting. When I say it'll be disgusting, it will be disgusting. Trust me on that one. Holy moly. Thank you to, is it Bakey_gaming for the follow. How you doing, buddy? Welcome on in. Hope you're doing fantastic. If you do need an invite to the Discord, feel free to let me know, and I will chuck a link towards the end of the stream with regards to the Discord invite, because I don't think the Discord thing works down below. We have got a car currently stopped on track and is going again, so I'm not too sure what happened there, but they are moving. And there was Bam, who's now demoted down to P16. Oh, it's a very long stop there for Lights, who actually does get back out into what on earth ever happened there. We've got the pit crew there just showing us their delight and stuff like that. But we got to love this angle we've got to love the angle camera of EA sometimes. But there we go. Bird is your new race leader on lap 23, and Lights has got around about 1.5 of a gap to close down on the medium compound tyre, and does have a 1 lap advantage to fresher tyres to the top third and second, and Bird as well under pressure. Oh, under pressure by quite a bit actually, side by side with the Mercedes, and Mercedes I think is just about ahead, and he is. Oh, the Bird pushed onto the grass. However, was there contact? It didn't sound that it was contact there between the Mercedes and the Ferrari, but the Mercedes and the McLaren are straight on through, and that now allows Lights to get involved in that DRS opportunity and be saying, don't get in my way, Ferrari, don't slow me down, I want to stay in touching distance of the top 2, as Math does set the fastest lap of this race of 109.400 on the dot, which you'll have to see. And yeah, so that Lights and P4 will start to worry about what on earth is going on, and Fake and the Mercedes going to try and work together here to run away from 3rd and 4th. Let's see what happens here. See what kind of pace that Mercedes has got, as we do see Rusted Bolt, you know, waiting in the background. I would have thought he'd gone for the move there, but just wasn't close enough. I didn't feel confident going to the inside there for P7. You know, you want to keep it nice and clean. The track is quite difficult to overtake in Sector 2. Overtaking opportunities is going to be turn 3 towards turn 4. And then maybe turn 11 to turn 12, and then turn 12 all the way down to turn 1, because it's such a massive back straight with a few kinks, a few left turns, a few bends, but nevertheless, you'll have to see it. The Bird, though, has lost DRS to the top 2, and that allows Lights to get ahead with the DRS activated. But is it too late, as Mass again, a 108.918. The Bird... or not the Bird, sorry, Bird for Red Bull has got a 3-second time penalty. They're down in P15, so with the gap they've got, it's not going to affect them too much, as Rusted Bolt down at turn 1 gets ahead of the Ferrari up into P7. McLaren and Mercedes working together in the top 2, and Lights is going to start struggling now and probably thinking, going on, where's my pace gone, because the gap is now 1.6 and now 1.7, so starting on pole in P3, that's not where they want to be. Not what you want to see. So he's probably gutted and disappointed, but going to try and push quite hard to get back in DRS range of the top two, and it is doing that exactly to his advantage. But the top two going to run away again when they get the DRS, and let's see then, can that RB get back to where it once was and in that primary spot of pole? All good, thanks. How about yourself? Bakey is saying, I'm doing great, thanks, buddy. Just watching this race go on. Very, very crazy, very exciting, but we'll love to see it, if you know what I'm on about. And you started last week in the 100% league. Ooh, very nice. Did you enjoy it, though? That's the big question. Did you enjoy it? Feel free to let me know if you enjoyed it. Down at turn one once again, RB and Ferrari going side by side, really slowing each other up here, and that allows the Alpine to get involved in it. Oh, that was a bit close there by the Alpine. Did you see that? Slight contact on that RB, and they're going to go too wide at turn 4, but they do back out of it, and the gap resembles, and they're staying single formatted line towards turn 6 and turn 7. But yeah, it's all going on. It's interesting and a bit scary at times, I will be honest, but what can you do? The Ferrari in P7 defending for his life. That RB just can't. It can and it can't. It can find a way through, but then he's under pressure already from the Alpine. He's in P9, so it's marginally a bit of a 50-50 chance at the moment, but it will be frustrating him quite a bit. So he needs to find a way through very, very shortly, but only time will tell whether he can get that move done. Towards turn 1 once again, he pulls out to that right hand side down to turn 1. Is it going to be the move that we want to look for? Wheel to wheel, side by side, the RB back up to where it wants to be for now, but is he going to get the traction and the benefit out of turn number 3? Is going to be no, because the Ferrari will pull to that left hand side once again and make that move into turn 4. So that RB has got to find a way through once again. Got to find another striking attack to get what they want. Lights finding the time they need in sector 2, but just isn't enough, and also not going to help at all, or may actually help him a little bit, because he is in DRS range of that rear wing being open. But I didn't hear the ding, but he did get the ding open. Gets that rear wing open. He could get back in here with striking distance of the top 2. Oh, but does have a slight moment at the back end. Is that Alpine still going to try and help him? That rear wing is open again. Isn't gaining enough. He isn't gaining enough in a straight line, but if they didn't have that moment, could have been back in the top 2 fight. See what happens here. Maybe the McLaren hold up the Mercedes are in sector 2. Oh, but you don't want to be sliding like that much. And oh, there we go. Rusted Bolt has found a way through up into P7, and the Ferrari under humongous pressure now from the Alpine behind, who's still stuck in P9. But is this the chance of Rusted Bolt to run away in P7 and try and leave the Ferrari behind? Only time will tell. With all that battling and fighting happening, has allowed Declan in P10 to try and close that gap down just a little bit, and the gap is around about 2.2 of a second, and he will get that rear wing open if he's close enough to the Aston Martin. On board with lights now, still stuck behind the Alpine. The gap is 1.4, has a better exit as compared to the last lap. The top 2 switch again. Rear wing open though for lights. 1.2 is now the gap. It's going to be... Is it enough? Is it enough? At the moment, the Alpine is really helping the RB here. Really helping the RB. As we do have the move again. Oh, it's happened again. But the Ferrari is back up into P7 again. Rusted Bolt into P8. And Pooch in P9. So it's all going on. It's all chaos towards the remaining closing stages of this race. But yeah, Rusted Bolt just can't find a way through up to P7, having bad luck still, you could say. Bad luck. And that's not going to be good times again. The Alpine making another major minor error. And that now allows the Aston Martin, who's been blue flagged, ahead of the Alpine, who now drops down to P10. And it actually does allow Declan up into P9 with all that fighting going on. Declan would probably want a podium out of all this race, but a P9 and more positions to be gained on, he'd be so happy with. But what on earth has happened to Lights here? I'll tell you what's happened. The Alpine has lost DRS opportunity to the top two, so Lights is a chance of a P2 and P1 could be out of the window. But now he's really got to close down quite a bit on the top two if he wants to get in striking distance of having that rear wing open once again. Ruster Bolt having a more of a challenge and a fight out of turn number 4 towards turn 5 and then towards turn 6. Is that Ferrari thinking to go side by side? No, he isn't. He stays right behind the RB for now. But like I say, it's all going on as time goes on. And the more they keep fighting, this allows Declan to get involved. And there he is in the background in P9. Could finish P7 in this race if he wants a good result. The RB having a big slidey moment out of turn 10 towards turn 11 and then towards turn 12. Ferrari is most likely going to get by once again. You enjoyed it. Annoying with the disconnection happened about 3 times. That is not what you want though in 100% league, but glad to hear that you did enjoy it, which is a good thing. Right then, out of turn 4 towards turn 5 and then towards turn 6. The gap is around about 1.4 of a second now. 31 out with 36. You got your championship leader in P2 and Fake, who is in that P1 trying to close that gap down before we get to the season break. Could classify it as the winter break for Christmas, so we'll kind of go Christmas theme and call it the winter break, because why not? Now Lights is now in a second. They will get that rear wing open. They should do. Do they get that rear wing open? Yes, they do. As the top two switch around once again. Lights to be tucking into that rear wing of that McLaren though, because look how much time he's gaining a straight with that McLaren not having the DRS at all. And now out of turn number 2 towards 3, now towards 4. He's going to chill out now and think of an opportunity on where they should pass. And Fake going for a late move there into turn 4 and getting that move done and dusted, and that Mercedes is all over the gearbox of that McLaren. This battle is about to spice up, and if anything happens, on goes through Lights in P3 to take a P1. If these two squabble way too much and come together at some point, Declan now up into P7 getting ahead of the Ferrari, and that's what he'll like to see. About 5.3 is the gap to his teammate. The Ferrari may try and fight this one, and Ruster Bolt was challenging for that P7, but unfortunately still stuck behind that Ferrari, which he'll be quite frustrated and really annoyed with. So there's not much you can say or you can do. Now this is interesting. Look how much Lights has gained on that lap with them two squabbling around in the background. They actually are going to go wheel to wheel almost at turn 1. Lights right on the gearbox here. What is he going to do? Is he going to play the smart game here and just let these two fight it out? The Mercedes flashing, the McLaren not really burning battery. That Mercedes, oh my goodness, look at the harvesting on that Mercedes is absolutely crazy. He's basically got a full battery to pounce and attack any moment until we get to the penultimate lap very shortly. Don't go anywhere, because this race ending is going to be crucial and going to be crazy. If the Mercedes does not get through at turn 4, they've still got an opportunity to get a move out of turn 12 towards the start and finish, because the slipstream in tow is so powerful, and the DRS on this game is so powerful as well. So it all depends on that. Lights has got the advantage though of, I believe, a 1 lap fresher tyre, which he has, than the top two. So you never know. With the way tyres work on this game as well, with tyre wear being excessive on the mediums and the softs and not on the hards, That could mean as he goes for a move into turn 1. And oh, is he going to get 2 moves done in 1 corner? He's looking for that move. That could have been phenomenal if Lights pulled that one off. But Mass demoted now down to P3. And Lights getting involved in the action. Probably going to go for the move on P1. Side by side. Who's going to come out on top? Into the corner. It's so tight. So close. Mercedes and RB side by side. What on earth is going on here? What is the McLaren going to do? He's making the RB back out there. Holy moly. That was some really good racing there. But that's what I mean. When Lights has a good moment and has a good exit, a lap fresher tyres could really play into the advantage of that RB. But we're heading towards the penultimate lap very shortly. Look how close that Mercedes is on the rear wing of that McLaren. I believe he does make slight contact. No, bit of a slide there for the RB as well. Going to go on board the RB and on board the Mercedes, who is starting to use their battery. Yellow flags in the background. The Aston Martin has spun around at turn number 8. The McLaren will go defensive to the inside line. The Mercedes, oh, big contact there, but I didn't see that coming. Where on earth did Lights come through? Down the inside, ahead of the McLaren. Did they go 3 wide at turn 2 or turn 1? Not too sure. That was crazy. That was chaotic. The McLaren will now get back up into P4 momentarily, but the RB will try and fight this one back. And will try and allow the McLaren back into primary position. But this has now opened the door for anybody to win this race. But look at that, the inside move for the Mercedes against his rival in the championship. And now it's the RB getting it all wrong and getting swallowed into P3. But second is where you want to be in this fight for the pole win, you could say. But it all depends on battery gains and battery gains. And now the DRS gains, all burning their battery now. All burning it like their life depends on it. The RB not burning as I thought he'd be burning by quite a bit. The Mercedes takes the lead at turn 1. But the RB looking to that inside line now. Late on the brakes between the RB and the McLaren side by side. What's going to happen here? Oh, a force off there between the RB and the McLaren. And now the Mercedes can run away with the race lead on the final lap of this race. What's going to happen between second and third? But I must say, Maths, with a phenomenal race this evening, has gone from the back of the grid to going up into P1 this race with how many position gains? 13 positions gains out of this race. That's absolutely incredible. And as he makes his way through the final couple of corners, currently chilling in Sector 2, it's going to be a good night for Mercedes. Back of the grid to pole position. Lights still within that DRS zone to probably take home a P2, which he'll be gutted, but happy with at the same time. But as Lights makes their way through the final corner towards the straight, he takes the win here into Lagos. Dominant victory. Fake bails into the pit lane for a 10-second time penalty to their name. The Bird will come home in third place, with the McLaren dropping down the order into P5. Bad Boy will come home in P4. Pace will come home in P6. And that Ferrari will come home in P7. Declan home in P8. Across the line, it's a drag race to the finish line. And Declan does keep his position for now. 5 thousandths between 7th and 8th. That's absolutely insane. Pooch will come home in P9. Hazer P10. P11 for Mr. P. Another disappointing race as well. He won't be happy with that one whatsoever. Golf home in P13. Danny home in P14. Bird home in P15, Bam P16, Iceman P17, and Pesh P18. And that rounds off your Tier 1 Carnage for round number 9. And you could just say, with Fake retiring, dropping down the order, and one of the McLaren's going straight on. I'm guessing that might be the retiree from Fake in the pit lane. That goes to show carnage can always happen on the final lap of this race, and the stewards will look hard into that investigation if the RB did make contact, which it looked like he did quite, you know, openly, and the moment is, did he force the McLaren off at turn 2? Great racing and finish. It was an exciting finish to watch. But as we see, P1 take to the top. Crazy. Math. Back of the grid. To the top. I'll be very happy with that one. That's one for the history books, especially for Mercedes. And we let RB and Ferrari as well celebrate their second and third places. The Bird probably wasn't looking for a podium position today, but with Fake retiring in the session, that has done them delight, and they'll be very happy with that one. But as we have a look at your final provisional standings for now, Math take P1, Lights P2, Bird P3, Bad Boy P4, Pace P5, Merc P6, Declan P7, Rusted Bolt P8, Pooch P9, Hazer P10, Mr. P coming home in P11, Koff P12, Bird P13, Danny P14, Fake P15 after retiring this race. And as we get into the retirements, Bam as well, P16, P17 for Iceman, and Pesh comes home in P18. A few drivers as well being lapped, but there you go. That is our race done and dusted, and that was absolutely chaotic. And you could say absolutely crazy as well. But without further ado, chat, that is us done and dusted for this evening. So as I say, thank you so much for watching and staying tuned with me, Mr. Flynn, this evening. You can catch us tomorrow at the same time as Tier 1, which would be an 8 o'clock start, to see how they get on. Tier 3, the exact same time as well. You then have got Friday and Saturday. Friday being the 100% tier league, and then Saturday being your international tier, which happens at 9 o'clock UK time, 8 o'clock for the 100% league. But thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you all very soon for Tier 1 next week, and we will go racing at the track of, if I can find it, bear with for just a second, chat. Make our way to the calendar, and before we go on a 2-week winter break, we do get one more final racing distance, say at round 10 at the famous track of Monza. So I'll be back next week before we head, like I said, to our 2-week winter break. Catch us tomorrow for Tier 2, which is going to be quite an interesting and exciting race at the circuit of Japan. So will there be a lot of safety cars? Probably. And then Tier 2 has got Qatar for round number 9. Bit jealous because I love that track. Catch you on the next one. Stay safe. And it's me, Mr. Flynn, signing off. Bye bye.